Question number 18 is entitled Equivalent Fractions. Two fractions, two different looking fractions that are equal to one another are said to be equivalent. For example, if on average, every time you take 10 basketball shots, you make 5. That's the same as 1 out of 2. If on an exam, every time, or on average, every time you have 10 questions on an exam, you keep getting 5 right. Well, that means on average, you're getting 1 out of 2 right. Does that mean that every 2 questions, you got 1 right? The answer is no. And for example, on a 10-question exam, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You get 5 correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, in the first 2, you got 1 right. 1 out of 2. In the next 2, yeah, got 1 right. 1 out of 2. Actually, let me just put 6 down here. In the next 2, you didn't get any right. In the last 2, you got 1 right. Now to counter getting 2 wrong in a row, somewhere you had to get 2 right in a row. On average, you got 1 out of 2 right. That's on average. Does that mean every time you look at 2 questions, you're going to have gotten only 1 right? Not necessarily. 5 and 6, there are 2 questions you didn't get them right. 7 and 8 are 2, you didn't get 1 right. 7 and 8, you didn't get 1 right. If you looked at 2 and 3, you got 1 right. It just means on average. Getting 5 baskets out of 10. Well, you take 10 shots, maybe you made 4 of the first time. Then you take 10 more, and then you made 5 shots. Then you took 10 more, and you made 6 shots. Well, the average of those 3 numbers, well, you add them up, divide by 3. 6 plus 4 is 10. I love 10. Plus 5 is 15. 15 divided by 3 is 5. On average, you made 5 baskets out of the 10. First you make 4 out of 10, then you make 5 out of 10, then you make 6 out of 10. On average, you make 5 out of 10, which means you make 1 out of 2. Make 1 out of 2 on average. If you keep taking an exam that has 2 questions, first time you got none right, then you got 2 right, and then 0 right, and then 2 right, and 0 right, and 2 right. Well, on this exam, there was 10 questions. Remember, each exam I said had 2 questions. 2 questions, another 2, another 2, another 2, another 2, another 2. Well, there were 12 questions. And you got 6 of them right. 0 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2. Well, that's just 2 plus 2 plus 2. You got 6 out of 12 right. That is, on average, you had a half. Well, yeah. The average of 0 and 2 is 1. The average of 0 and 2 is 1. 0 and 2 is 1. It's as if you kept getting 1 out of 2 right. These 2 fractions are said to be equivalent because they equal one another. Okay, enough of this. So if you want to change the way something looks, and this is very important, if you want to change the way a number looks, you multiply by 1. If you want to change the way something looks, you multiply by 1. Remember, 5 over 5 is equal to 1. 7 over 7 equals 1. 2/3 divided by 2/3 equal 1. 13 over 13 equals 1. 8 over 8 equals 1. 1 over 1 equals 1. And of course 1 equals 1. There's many different ways of writing 1. If somebody asks you 1/2 is blank over 10, that is, I want to change the way this looks. How do I know I want to change the way it looks? The bottom looks differently. The bottom looks different. The bottom is different. I want to change how it looks. Whether you write all these steps I'm about to write or not, you should at least think it. 1/2 is equal to 1/2 times 1. And there's many different ways of writing 1. It's going to be a fraction, I'll tell you that. And you want to get a 10 on the bottom. 1/2 definitely equals a half times 1. Any number times 1 is equal to itself. And I promise you, in that bracket, I will put 1. 2 times that number should equal 10. That number is 5. And you should only look inside the bracket to answer my next question. For that fraction to equal 1, what should the numerator be? The answer should be, it should be the same as the denominator. Okay. 1 times 5 is what goes here, which is 5. That is, the answer is 5 over 10. If you had 3 over 7 and you want to write it with some number over 28, well, you take 3 over 7, it surely equals itself times 1.